Hi everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, and I'm joined with Connor.
Hey guys.
As always, we're the DC guys here at review all the DC shows. Well, all of them, not Gotham, because we're not crazy. We're going to talk about The Flash, Season 2, Episode 15. The episode's called King Shark. Full spoilers. I'm really going to emphasise that this time. Full spoilers for the episode follows. Because I'm getting straight into it.
Oh, we're starting with the big bit. Okay.
We're starting with it. Because
Okay.
last week, we theorised a lot based on a couple of things, right?
Yeah.
And we were saying the reaction of the guy in the Iron Mask told us that he was Jay Garrick, but that didn't really... He was the real Jay Garrick, but the guy who was saying he was Jay Garrick wasn't really Jay Garrick, but that didn't stand up. And then we also had the whole thing where Hunter Zolomon on Earth 1 is a version of Jay Garrick, and Hunter Zolomon, if you didn't know, in the comics is a version of Zoom. He's Professor Zoom or
Yes.
whatever, yeah. So, whole lot of things going on. We were theorising, we were trying to get our heads around it. And then the post-credit scene this week, if you will.
First one in like a month as well.
Yeah, they've been not really having them. And I've been really annoyed to find out after this aired that we're not getting another episode for like another 3 or 4 weeks. Next episode's only like the 15th of March. What the hell?
Sort it out.
Yeah. Well, that's what they've done. They've left us with this huge cliffhanger reveal to
And no,
titillate us.
because they know we'll come back.
Yeah, they'll try to titillate us with these big reveals. And like,
You know
by
what?
the way.
It's fucking working.
Yeah. So, we see Zoom carry Jay Garrick's body, who I don't think is dead. I think he's still alive.
I do as well. Why would he be carrying that body if he was...
Yeah. So he's bringing unconscious, possibly dead body. Say possibly, but I don't think he's dead. Right. So he carries Jay Garrick's body, dumps it on the floor. The guy in the iron mask is in his cage, just looking distressed. Well, as distressed as one can look with a big iron mask on.
To be fair, I want to commend that man on his acting, considering he has no facial expressions to go with, and you go just off body language and the occasional shot of his eyes. I think he does a pretty good job.
Yeah, that's fair. Zoom takes off his mask.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
No,
I started to at first when it did the spinning shot, and I was like, "Wait, are they gonna?" Because it was like that sort of moment, and
he takes off his mask.
lo and behold,
It's Jay Garrick.
oh, the mindfuckery begins.
But see, this is the weird thing, is the guy in the iron mask freaking out last week when he started talking about Jay Garrick makes more sense now.
Because he was telling him that he's Jay Garrick.
Possibly. But this is more complicated than that, because we have at least 2 Jay Garricks in play, possibly 3 in total so far, because we've got Hunter Zolomon in Earth 1, who could be this Zoom, right? That could end up being the reveal. But it might not be. I'm actually thinking this Jay Garrick could be from like Earth 3, or...
I'm thinking, are they going way into the multiverse now?
Because... And the reason why I think that is because he's so powerful. It's a weird thing to be reminded of, but have you ever seen the Jet Li movie, The One?
I haven't.
Right, I'm going to explain the plot of that movie from what I can remember, but the broad strokes are the important parts. Basically, Jet Li... It's basically a movie where there's a multiverse, essentially, right?
Okay.
Right? And Jet Li's... The main character's like the good one on the main Earth, right? But there's a bad version of Jet Li from one Earth who's going around all the different universes, killing all of his copies. Because every time he kills one, he gets more powerful.
See, I kind of got that idea that he's not killing them, but he's capturing them. So that one in the Iron Mask is a version of Jay Garrick.
Yeah, I'm thinking it is Jay Garrick. I think we were right last week. We were
Not
thinking...
quite right.
Yeah, because we were thinking the one that's been good and been around is lying about who he is and he's really bad. I don't think that's the case now either. I think he is good. I think he's Jay Garrick. I think the one in the mask is also Jay Garrick. And it also ties up with the fact that even if Earth 1's Jay Garrick, who's Hunter Zolomon, isn't Zoom, it sets up the idea that on some Earths he's called Hunter Zolomon. You know?
Yeah, like it's 50-50 perhaps.
Yeah, like in some Earths will be Jay, some Earths will be Hunter Zolomon. That's what I'm thinking. Of course, this could all be bollocks. It could just turn out to be the one that's Earth 1. But part of me's thinking...
I prefer the idea of Crisis of Multiple J's.
Yeah. Well, because I still think the guy in the Iron Mask is another J, which puts us to at least 4 Jay Garricks.
Well, no, at least 3, assuming one of them could be Earth 1s.
Okay, 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Could be 3 or 4. And then maybe we'll get more. And the point is,
This is exciting as fuck.
Last season we had no Jay Garricks. This season we got at least 3 of the fuckers, possibly 4.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if we get a shot towards the end of this season where there's like 50 of the bastards all lined up. 52 even. Make it 52.
It does me. If you're going to do that, just go for the 52. You reference everywhere else. You might as well go for it.
Oh, man. So that's where we are on the Zoom front. All on the fact that over the course of the episode, Barry decides that, nah, I don't care what's happened. We're somehow stopping Zoom. And I think what I like about it from the hero dynamic is that he's not happy to live with the fact that he's left Earth to suffer. With Zoom.
Yeah, he's being very proactive about it rather than reactive, which occasionally they are on the Flash. Yeah. They wait for something to come to them and then they deal with it. But I think it wasn't the only time this episode he was like that. He actively went after King Shark. Like he was like, "No, I'm not leaving him. I'm going after him. It's my responsibility." And it's the same sort of thing as we got at the end.
Yeah, but obviously the one at the end's a much bigger deal though, because it's him. Like
but it's like, because thematically it's the same.
Yeah, but he could completely shrug that off because it's not his Earth. But he's saying, "No, I don't care. It doesn't matter."
Well, yeah, I think we got that set up earlier though, where Argus came in and was like, "You do nothing. We've got it. We can do this on our own. You can just stay. We're just gonna do it."
I'm thinking less than that. I'm thinking more the scene where he tells Joe and Iris about Earth 2. That's the scene that really set up for me, because that scene is like, I know they're not mine. I know it's not my Joe and not my Iris, but it didn't matter.
Yeah,
they're innocent people and they were getting hurt. You know,
yeah.
Even if they're strangers to me, like I still save strangers because I'm a hero. You know.
Yeah.
I'd say that out loud, but that was generally the consensus of what he was saying. So I really like that. I really like that dynamic. The Cisco and Caitlin stuff. Caitlin I struggle with sometimes because I think Caitlin's a bit can occasionally. I don't know if it's the writing or her acting, but occasionally I have a problem with how she.
I think it's the writing that they don't really know what to do with her a lot of the time, because kind of they have the Wells as the science part. They have the Cisco for the comic relief and sub-science for a lot of the time.
The tech side of things.
Yeah. And then Caitlin kind of just feels a bit redundant by that point.
Yeah. So some of her being quote-unquote cold in this episode.
Not gonna lie. At the first time when that happens, Cisco's like, she's been a bit cold. I laughed. I really did.
Well, that's what I was going to say, is that I don't think... As much as I wasn't feeling her, like the way she was being brought across, what I did enjoy was Cisco constantly looking at her funny as if she's going evil. I enjoyed his paranoia about it.
Oh, she definitely is at some point. I really think she is.
You do? I don't know. Good go. I don't actually think she is. I did enjoy when she. I was hoping she was going to reveal it there, because when she comes in and scares him by like pretending she's going proper evil.
Yeah.
I was hoping that because he said her hands were cold, I was hoping that she was actually dipping her hands in ice or something to really sell it, you know?
Yeah.
so that when she touched them, like he properly got a chill. But so that was fine. I just sometimes I feel like the way she overplays things, like when they go and see the doctor, and she's like, "Give us your research, bitch." Like I was like, "This is a bit much." Like I wasn't quite feeling it. That and maybe the Wally stuff with Barry.
It's a little bit forced.
Yeah, it kind of feels like, well, all of a sudden Wally's jealous of Barry because he's like the son to Joe rather.
It feels like we haven't really seen enough of that over the last few episodes for it to feel deserved to have so much time in this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as bad as, say, the X-Files final in the way that just shoehorned in everything.
Oh, no. It's nowhere near that level.
That'll spoil X-Files if you've not been watching it. You can go and check out that review if you want to hear our complaints. But yeah, I mean, I guess... No, I don't know. I guess like I like the idea of like Wally and Barry bonding. I feel like they should, and this is maybe just setting that up. So hopefully this goes to better places with him, and Barry makes more of a point to reach out to him and whatever.
How long till Wally figures it out?
Before some end of the season, I'd say.
Yeah,
end of the season. Let's get to the meat and potatoes of the episode, though.
What the one's named after.
Yes, King Shark. It looked good throughout. If I have any complaints with the effects, it was actually when he broke into the house. It was the effect of the house breaking that looked kind of shit. But
when it came out towards the camera, that's when it really looked a bit. Nah.
But he throughout, I mean, he looked pretty good for a TV show. He was looking.
I thought, considering that they seemed to show him a good amount sprinkled, like it wasn't necessarily a lot, but sprinkled throughout the episode, it felt like they had him on screen quite a lot.
Yeah, it felt enough. Yeah.
I didn't feel like they were hiding him away from him much.
Nah, not too much. I mean, they always showed him at night, which I think was smart.
Yep.
Just to hide it a little bit, and then it was good. There was a great shot of him jumping out the water, slow motion.
I loved that shot.
Yeah, it was really comic booky, really fun. Barry speeding around him and throwing the electricity, or the lightning, I should say. Really fun. Everything with King Shark was just a lot of fun. It was just like there was a shot when after he breaks into the house, I just loved him sticking his head in. He's like, "Where's the Flash?" Just.
My one thing was he this big when we saw him before?
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought he wasn't quite that big. I feel like he grew over the last.
Nah, he was that big. I mean, when he was going through the house, I'm assuming he was standing on the top, the other part of the house or something, because he wasn't that tall. But when Barry speeds out and
okay, it's probably just my memory then.
And then there was a shot of Barry just standing in the foreground with King Shark in front of him. I was like, this looks badass. This is proper goofy comic book stuff.
I just love how they've completely we've had Grodd done well. And I was like, fuck it, King Shark. You know what? Yeah, he's a fucking shark. Let's go with it.
Do you get the reference at the start when the Argus soldier called him Bruce?
Yeah, it's Jaws.
Yeah.
There's a shit ton of Jaws references.
There's a shit ton, but that one was a bit more... you have to kind of know your Jaws trivia to get that one. So I wasn't sure if you'd have got that, because your knowledge of old movies... Because I wasn't even sure if you'd seen Jaws, let's be honest.
I have, but not in a while. I'll be honest. Not in a good 10 years.
Because you didn't watch Back to the Future for the first time till last year.
No, I saw Jaws many times as a kid, but I haven't seen it in about 10 years. Yeah. So I'm a little bit shaky.
Also, apparently they have Jaws on Earth too, because Wells also referenced it.
Yeah. I genuinely lost count of the amount of times they referenced it.
Yeah, well, it makes sense.
So many.
Well, actually, my favourite Jaws reference, though, even though on paper it shouldn't be that funny, I think because Cisco's been the guy who's been built up to love referencing things, but as soon as they mention King Shark, he's like, we're going to need a bigger Flash. That made me laugh.
Me too.
It really did.
Did you catch the reference to the music? Not the blatant one where they said it, but
what, in the music?
It wasn't in the music itself. They did it in the sound design. It was as they had the Barry Flash lure thing, and they were waiting for him. And as soon as Cisco says he's coming for it now, and you see the shot of it on the computer of him swimming, the thermal imaging sort of thing, the bell starts ringing in the same rhythm as the Jaws theme, and it gets faster as he gets closer.
That's close enough, but not so close that they'll get sued.
Exactly, it's really clever.
Very good. No, I mean, it made sense. There was tons of Jaws references. I mean, if you were in a situation where you had to deal with a shark, you'd be cracking Jaws references too.
Of course.
Possibly a few Deep Blue Sea ones if you're feeling
and we did get a Sharknado one.
That made me laugh too.
Just for the more recent ones.
That legit was a good reference. I enjoyed that. That was a pretty good episode, actually, overall. I mean, I had a couple of nitpicks with the Wally stuff and the Caitlin stuff, but generally speaking, the way... I loved Joe and Irish's reactions to hearing about Earth 2 versions of themselves.
I think that whole scene was fantastic, and they did this great thing with the music where it was the Flash theme, but in a minor key.
Yeah.
And it was so good.
Yeah. I actually really enjoy when music does that, when they take a theme and they do either put it in a different key or put it with different accompaniments or put it in a different instrument, just something to give it a different feel. So you have the emotional version, you have the you've not seen Lost, have you?
I've seen a sprinkling of episodes, including the very last one.
Well, I would recommend watching all, because it is very good. I think some people will disagree and not like the ending and whatever else. I'm quite fond of pretty much all of it. A few negative, dips here or there. But as someone who likes music, I think you would get a lot out of Lost.
Oh, I agree. We studied the music extensively.
Because almost every character has a main theme, but the one that I'm going to bring up specifically is a character called Ben. Now I won't spoil Lost, only for you, but for anyone watching or listening. But Ben's a sort of darker character, and he's got this main theme that's kind of sinister sounding. But when you get to know the character more and you get some more sort of dramatic, emotional beats, there's like an emotional version of his theme that is actually really soothing. And it was just really a great experience hearing that version of it after hearing the sort of... Like, the other one you would never listen to for enjoyment, I don't think. It's just too much of a sinister, bad guys coming to get you kind of track, whereas then you hear like the emotional version, and then there's even like other versions of it that plays out throughout as there's one where he apologises for something, and that you get like this really like, reflective version of it, and it's just, I don't know.
Yeah. It's just good composing.
I like that. I really do like that kind of thing. I hate when they abandon themes, and especially when I like the theme, and I hate when
because we spoke a few weeks ago with Flash how On Earth 2 was the first time we got this theme this season.
Yeah, I suppose you could argue that he's not felt himself since like the season 1 final, since his mum and all that. So maybe that's why and this is him finally coming back to himself, and that's why the theme's coming back. I don't know. I like when they play with things like that.
Yeah.
So that's good. No, I really liked the episode. Iris found out that she was married to Barry on Earth 2. They sort of like, he quickly glossed over it because they had a lot of serious things to talk about. But I like the idea that that's now in her head. Like, God damn it, we're meant to be married in the future. We're married on Earth 2. I'm starting to feel like
like there's something going on here.
Like this is heading somewhere.
And all I could think, when that happened and her reaction, I was just like, I want Patty back.
Yeah, but Patty's as good as dead, let's be honest.
No, bring her back.
She's getting killed. I'm sorry.
She's not. Can't
she
kill her.
is such a goner.
No, don't do this. Don't do this, Flash writers.
Jessie didn't have a big part of the episode, but she seemed nice enough. I liked her presence.
Yeah, because I was a little bit concerned at the end of last week. She was almost verging on whiny already, where she was like, "Oh, I can't see my friends." It's like, fucking Zoom's coming after you. Get the fuck out of there and shut up. You've been in a cage for 3 months. You haven't seen your friends anyway. They'll think you're dead.
She lightens up throughout the episode.
But at the end of last episode, I was concerned that that's where it could have gone.
But I'm saying this week she seems fine. She was, she has a nice couple of moments with her dad, and she smiles because she gets to actually take part in the science and do stuff. So, whether or not she actually ever gets super speed is something.
Well, they got Velocity 9 now.
That's true. Maybe it'll be like, oh, you're from Earth 2. This will work on you. It won't work on us because we're from Earth 1, but you're from Jay's Earth. I can see that being an excuse. Actually, that reminds me, one of the lines that I really thought was funny is when they're both, like, Will says something to Cisco about, have you checked this? And then she says something else. It's like, okay, let's play a game. If you're from Earth 2, shut up.
Crack me up. I don't know. Cisco's been great lately.
Yeah, he's been done alright.
Do you remember before this show started? And the internet was raging because they'd chosen to use someone as lame as Vibe, and everyone was like, "This is going to be shit."
Vaguely, I remember Mario hating him a lot.
Yeah, but Mario would. But in general, the internet as a whole thought it was a stupid idea.
But what the hell else you gonna do with that? It's not like he's gonna get his own show.
Exactly.
Like, let him be a side character on this. That'll suit him just fine. So I've actually, just to wrap up here, I've got a theory as to how we get to Supergirl. Because we know that Flash is going to appear on Supergirl at the end of March.
I can see where it's going as well.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, I don't think it's necessarily that hard of prediction, but I think obviously they're going to try and get back to Earth too, so that you can take on Zoom, and in attempting to do so, they're going to end up opening a rift to the other world instead.
I hope they just go through like a bunch of them, and we see like a quick scene on all of them. Just get like one difference on each thing. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I can see that happening just before the Supergirl episode,
or
just after, depending on how it plays out.
Yeah,
they could have an episode where he's like traveling through all these different weird parallel worlds, and maybe you could even see like the goatee Green Arrow from that we'll see in Legends at one point as well. Just a nice little joke that he's been in the same place, and then eventually get back to like maybe the Cliffires, because maybe that's how it'll work if you're not watching Supergirl. Is it doesn't really matter. You just sort of buy it as being one of the other quick ones that he had while he was in there, but if you watch Supergirl, you get the full thing of like him actually being there.
Yeah, that could be work.
That's just a guess. But no, looking forward to that. Enjoying the show. Flash. Season 2 started a little bit shaky, but I feel like since about episode 6, which was the Grodd episode, it's been pretty on point. So
Yeah. And
I'm just
we've got a whole month now, pretty much, without an episode.
Yeah, I know, we got a little bit of a break. But the upside to that is, though, we also got a break from Arrow for 3 weeks.
We got one more to get through first.
Yeah, but then we have a break for 3 weeks. So I'm quite excited about that particular nugget of information. So that's good. Now, looking forward to the rest of the season. And I've almost just about forgiven it for the frozen lasers in episode 4.
I don't know. They reminded me of them today. At the start, when King Shark's there and they had the lasers, I was like, oh, this show, you should not remind people of lasers.
I actually kind of liked how the lasers were over the water, though. I felt like, this is how you have a shark trapped. You can't jump out without getting lasered.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
But nah, Flash is really comic booky, and that's kind of its strengths. So, good stuff. Excited to see how everyone plays out. So that's this week's episode of The Flash.